In the ancient lands, where myths breathed and legends walked, tales were whispered of creatures so fearsome they could turn the bravest warriors to stone. Among them, none was more dreaded than the Basilisk, the king of serpents. But even the darkest legends can be challenged. This is the story of Torin, a young man whose courage would be tested against the might of this terrifying beast. Torin wasn't a knight in shining armor or a sorcerer wielding immense power. He was a simple village youth, known for his quick wit and an unyielding spirit. His home was nestled at the edge of the Shadowfen, a marshy, mist-shrouded land that villagers avoided. For generations, they spoke of the basilisk that dwelt within, a monstrous serpent with scales like obsidian and eyes that held a petrifying curse. The fear was palpable. Livestock would vanish, and travelers who strayed too close to the fen were never seen again. The village lived under a constant, oppressive shadow. While others prayed and hid, Torin saw the suffering of his people and knew that fear could not be their only legacy. He resolved to do what no one else dared, to face the basilisk and end its reign of terror. He didn't embark on his quest recklessly. Torin spent weeks in the village library, poring over ancient texts and forgotten lore. He learned of the basilisk's strengths, its deadly gaze, its venomous fangs, its immense, coiling body. But more importantly, he discovered its weaknesses. The legends spoke of its aversion to the crowing of a rooster and its fatal vulnerability to its own reflection. An idea began to form in his mind, a plan as audacious as it was dangerous. Torin forged not a sword, but a shield. It was a magnificent piece, polished to a perfect, mirror-like sheen. It was heavy, but he trained day and night, building his strength until he could wield it with ease. He also found the bravest, loudest rooster in the village, a proud creature he named Clarion. With his mirrored shield, his loyal rooster in a cage, and a heart full of resolve, Torin stepped into the eerie silence of the Shadowfen. The air in the fen was thick and heavy, smelling of decay and stagnant water. Twisted, skeletal trees reached out like gnarled fingers, and strange mists coiled round his feet. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the drip of water and the occasional nervous cluck from Clarion. Torin held his shield close, its polished surface carefully covered. He knew the basilisk would be drawn to the intrusion. He didn't have to wait long. A low hiss slithered through the air, a sound that seemed to vibrate in his very bones. The ground trembled slightly, and from the murky depths of a dark pool, the basilisk emerged. It was more horrifying than any story had described. It was a colossal serpent, its body as thick as an ancient oak, covered in shimmering dark green scales. Its head was crowned with a jagged, bone-like ridge, and its eyes glowed with a sickly yellow light. The creature's gaze swept the area, and the very plants it looked upon seemed to wither and turn grey. Torin's heart pounded in his chest, a frantic drum against his ribs. He knew a single glance into those eyes would mean his end. He kept his own eyes fixed firmly on the ground, navigating by instinct and memory. The basilisk hissed again, a sound of ancient hunger and malice. It slithered towards him, its massive body displacing the murky water. Torin stood his ground, his knuckles white as he gripped his shield. This was it, the moment of truth. Just as the beast lunged, its fangs dripping with a dark, corrosive venom, Torin did two things at once. He ripped the cover from his shield and simultaneously opened Clarion's cage. The rooster, startled and sensing the immense danger, let out the most powerful, ear-splitting crow of its life. The sound pierced the swamp's silence, a cry of defiance against the encroaching darkness. The basilisk recoiled, hissing in pain. The rooster's crow disoriented it, a piercing noise that grated against its ancient senses. It thrashed its head wildly, and in that moment of confusion, its glowing yellow eyes fell upon the polished surface of Torin's shield. It saw its own reflection. It saw the terrifying monster, the glowing eyes, the crown of bone. For the first time in its long existence, the basilisk felt the full, petrifying power of its own gaze. There was no scream, no final roar. The great serpent simply froze. Its lunge stopped mid-air. The sickly yellow light in its eyes flickered and died. Its massive body, once a fluid instrument of terror, stiffened and hardened. The shimmering green scales lost their luster, turning to a dull, lifeless grey. In a matter of seconds, the mighty basilisk was turned to stone, a permanent, grotesque monument to its own deadly power. Silence returned to the Shadowfen, but this time it wasn't menacing. It was peaceful. Torin stood, breathing heavily, his mirrored shield still raised. He looked at the stone statue of the beast, a testament to the fact that even the greatest terrors can be overcome not by brute force, but by intelligence and courage. He picked up Clarion, who was now preening his feathers proudly, and began the walk back to his village. When he emerged from the mist-shrouded fen, the villagers who saw him couldn't believe their eyes. Word spread like wildfire. Torin, the quiet boy, had defeated the unbeatable monster. He was hailed as a hero. The village was free from the shadow of fear that had loomed for so long. They celebrated not with a grand feast for a night, but with a humble and heartfelt gathering for one of their own. Torin's story became a new legend, a tale told not to inspire fear, but to inspire hope. It was a reminder that courage isn't about the absence of fear, but about acting in spite of it. And that sometimes, the greatest weapon isn't a sword, but a clever mind and an unyielding will to protect those you love. Thank you so much for joining us for this epic tale. If you enjoyed the story of Torin and the Basilisk, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing legends and myths. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you want to see featured next? Until next time, stay brave and keep exploring the stories that shape our world.